August 18th, 2022. The meeting, of course, is held electronically, but hybrid. We have people live and on the screen. The recording and draft minutes will be posted to Kettle Creek's website later on today. And the meeting will be streamed live on the following link, which is our Facebook page. Now, we do have the audio video recording notice, which I think you're all familiar with. Just remember that the recorded video of the full authority meeting is not considered the official record of that meeting. The official record of the full authority meeting should consist solely of the minutes approved by the full authority. So I just wondering about any declarations of pecuniary interest. Hearing and seeing none, then I know that we have some guests here today, and welcome Marianne, and look forward to your report in a little while. Now, do we need a motion to the hearing board or to adopt the hearing board?
There's no hearing board
Okay,
today.
so we're going to go into closed session.
I'll take a roll call before we go into closed session.
Okay.
Dennis Krebitz.
Here.
Dominique Giguère.
Here.
Stephen Harvey.
Here.
Jim Herbert.
Here.
Grant Jones.
Here.
Bill Mackey.
Here.
Steve Peters.
Here.
Elizabeth Pelosa sends her regrets. Allison Warwick.
Here.
Ralph Winfield.
Yeah, here.
We have 9 out of 10 members.
Great. Okay, so we're going to keep moving on here. I'm going to use seconder. Dennis Krebitz. All in favor? Do you want to go through that, or do you think everybody's okay with
I
it?
think everyone's okay.
So, getting back to business, and Stephen, I will be glad to answer your questions shortly after the meeting. And so here we have a chance to approve the closed June 15th meeting minutes. So looking for a mover for that. Harvey, seconded by Jones, all in favor. Do you want to go through the roll call, please?
Giguère.
Yes.
Harvey.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
Jones.
Yeah.
Mackey.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Winfield.
Yes.
Warwick.
Yes.
And that motion passes.
Great. And now we had several discussions during closed session, and I'm going to break it down into 4 different votes. And if you're not clear of it, don't hesitate to stop me. The first thing that we're going to look through is that the Kettle Creek Conservation Authority Board endorsed the 2022 salary grid with job rates reflecting the 60th percentile pay target to be implemented as presented for full-time salaried employees, effective immediately and retroactive to January 1st, 2022. And that the 2022 salary grid framework be adjusted for 2023 by at least 2% to be brought forward in the 2023 budget cycle. That a pay equity plan be prepared to reflect the results of the 2022 pay equity analysis. And that the administration clerk position be considered within the 2023 budget, and finally that staff proceed as directed on a personnel matter. So looking for a mover, Harvey, seconded by
Mackey.
Mackey, and Elizabeth, could you please call the vote, please?
Giguère.
Yes.
Harvey.
Yes.
Herbert.
I'll say yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Warwick.
Yes.
Winfield.
Yes.
That motion passes.
Okay, and the second issue just in closed session was regarding a job description and titles. So looking for a mover for this.
Peters.
Thank you, seconder.
Jones.
Jones. And if you can call the vote, Elizabeth, please.
Giguère.
Yes.
Harvey.
Yes.
Herbert.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Mackey.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Winfield.
Yes.
Warwick.
Yes.
That motion passes.
And our third discussion regarding a personnel matter. I'm looking for a mover to receive.
Herbert.
Herbert, seconded by Harvey. And Elizabeth again, please.
Jagger,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Warwick,
Yes.
Winfield.
Yes.
That motion passes.
Passes. And our last discussion in closed session was regarding property signage, and I'm looking for a mover to receive that.
Jones.
Yes.
Jones, second by Dominique. And if you want to call the vote on that one, Elizabeth, that'd be great.
Dominique,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Warwick.
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. So now moving on to the minutes from the June 15th, 2022 full authority board, the last meeting. So if we can have a mover and a second or accept those.
Herbert.
meetings. Thank you.
Peters.
Thank you. And Elizabeth?
Jagger,
Yes.
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Warwick.
Yes.
That motion passes.
Thank you. So now moving on to matters arising, in the first item on matters arising, the media report. Mary Ann, this is yours.
Yeah, so just wanted to highlight some of what's been happening over the last month. So back on August 9th, we released over 70 turtles back into the watershed. Upper Thames kindly incubated them for us, and once they hatch, they return them and our staff released them. And then just highlighting Ducks Unlimited Facebook post, so featuring the Port Stanley Sewage Lagoon project that we had worked in partnership with a couple of years ago. So a great before and after social media post that I thought I would share with the board. And also the Times Journal featuring the Dalewood Reservoir and a resident, I think from London, kayaking. So, and then of course an event that just happened this past weekend with the Kettle Valley Pioneers. So, yeah.
Thank you, and great pictures as always on those. Thank you, Mary Ann. Project tracking, Elizabeth?
Sure. So in addition to the items that were put out in the advanced package, just two things to highlight that are upcoming. September 17th, 2022, the Kettle Creek Environmental Trust is holding its first fundraiser in a couple of years at Dan Patterson Conservation Area. It's a food truck festival, outdoor market. There'll be live music and lawn games. Come out and visit your favorite food truck and support the Kettle Creek Environmental Trust. And then on September 9th, we'll be opening our accessible dock out at Lake Whitaker. As you recall, this was a project that we were able to undertake with funding from Ontario Trillium, capital grant. So very exciting, the dock's in place, but we're officially opening it with our new MPP Rob Flack on September 9th. So if any board members, Allison plans to attend already, but if any other board members are interested in checking out that great new facility, you can come join us on September 9th.
Great, thank you. Any questions for Elizabeth? Well, hopefully other people can come out to September 9th and see this dock being opened. All right, and watershed conditions, is Jennifer here?
No, I'll take this one. So Jennifer was able to secure $9,650 in funding from Departments of Fisheries and Oceans to continue municipal drain classification in 2022. We also, because the water levels have been low, so low this summer, we did have GD Valley back out to do a condition assessment on the dam. They were able to get right up close to the spillway, and from that they'll be able to do a little bit better drawing so that we have really good conditions to go out to market hopefully next year to get that work done. In overall, the spillway deterioration wasn't as bad as that they thought. We were able to get up nice and close and do I guess some tapping and stuff on it, but the one wall is showing definitely no new signs of deterioration, but definitely deterioration. So we're continuing to monitor that.
Okay, any questions? Then moving on to D, Canada Helps pre-authorized debit and credit authorization. Mary Ann.
Hi, so the authority already has a Canada Helps account, but this is just the next step in finalizing it. So we own the profile. What I'm looking for today is for the board to approve basically electronic fund transfers so that we can collect donations electronically. So that would allow us to promote the Canada Helps button on our website.
Okay, any other questions?
Peters.
Go ahead, Steve.
I know the food bank in St. Thomas uses Canada Helps. But my issue with Canada Helps is they take a 4% cut. And one of the things the food bank has tried to do is, yeah, they let people know that Canada Helps is there. But if I want to make an electronic fund transfer, I can do it directly to the food bank, bypassing the Canada Helps and putting more money in the food bank's pocket. So if someone was wanting to donate, do we have to have them donate through Canada Helps, or is there a backdoor way to keep more money in the authorities' pockets?
Chair, I can answer that for Steve. There's definitely the traditional forms of still donating to the trust. But we have seen an increase in just random donations that are coming in from Canada Helps. So this is able to get it to us faster. But certainly in promoting the Canada Helps on our website, we would certainly be able to still promote those backdoor methods or traditional methods that you just recognized. So this doesn't mean to replace it. It's just attracting a clientele that wishes to use Canada Helps as their method of donation.
Just curious, is Canada Helps, I should have asked Karen this question, I didn't think of it, but is Canada Helps a nonprofit organization, or, is this a for-profit entity that, is taking 4%? I can just imagine 4% all across Canada. They probably have a very healthy bank account.
Chair, to Steve, I'd have to check, but Canada Helps actually issues the donation receipts on behalf of the donations to get. So I believe that they are a charitable organization, or they wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, all right, any other questions? So then moving on to letter to Southfield Township regarding the Natural Heritage Services. Who speaks for this, Joe or Elizabeth? Or both?
I can start, and if Joe has anything to add. This was a topic that came up previously. Back in May, a report went to the executive and was ratified by the board. We decided at that time to respectfully decline the offer to participate in a joint planning and natural heritage service agreement with Lower Thames Valley and the Township of South Pool for planning and natural heritage services. If you recall, natural heritage services for CAs right now is not a mandatory program, but is something that we can enter into on behalf of our member municipalities through an agreement. Right now, Southfield is the only member municipalities that is asking for this service, and so the economy of scales for RCA to participate in this joint agreement wasn't there at this time. Certainly from our perspective, we think it's something that we could get involved in the future, but definitely think it should be something that's organized at the county level. So the letter reflects that, and Lower Thames is specifically just looking for a letter that says that Kettle Creek has no issues with them offering that service to one of our member municipalities, which the letter explains we have no objection to.
Okay. Any comments? Nope. All right then, so in regarding to matters arising, we have a recommendation that the matters arising A through E be received, and further that staff proceed to set up pre-authorized debit and credit authorization with Canada Helps. And finally, that the draft letter to Southfield Township regarding natural heritage services be sent. So mover,
Mackey.
Mackey? Was
Yep.
it? Yeah, thank you. Seconder? Ralph, do you want to second that?
I guess.
Okay. All right, and now we're going to call the vote.
Jiguer,
yes,
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes,
Winfield,
Yes.
Warwick,
Yes?
and that motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Now, don't see any correspondence listed, and then we have, statement of revenue and expenses as of June 30th, 2022.
Thank you, Chair. I think there's no surprises here. The campgrounds as of June were 80 and 90% of their budgeted target, and have probably achieved that by the end of July. So a really good year in the campgrounds, which is nice to see. Otherwise, no surprises with either revenues or expenditures.
Okay, any questions regarding any of the revenue or expenditures, board? Nope, then I have a recommendation that the statement of revenue and expenses dated June 30th, 2022 be approved. Mover?
Jones.
Jones, seconded by Herbert. And Elizabeth will call the vote now.
Jiguer,
yes,
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
yes,
Winfield,
Yes.
and Warwick.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So now moving on, new business. And we've got A, B, and C at that? Or is it no new business? I'm just looking at this much to understand.
Yeah, it's the acquisition and disposition.
Okay, so the first thing that we're looking at is CA after U, the acquisition and disposition policy. Elizabeth and Betsy.
I can certainly start. So the authority has an existing acquisition policy, but it was missing elements to bring it into compliance with the new regulation and the CA Act review. According to that regulation, we needed to develop a policy that included land dispositions. So our current policy talked to acquisitions, but not necessarily how the authority would deal with if we were disposing of the land. So Betsy's worked at looking both at our existing policy and some policies from neighboring CAs and the requirements of the CA review to include the disposition clauses within the new policy. It's been updated to allow for disposition. We have a new evaluation form and an acquisition process. And because of the Gill property, that was very fresh in our mind to put to paper basically how to handle that process. So it was included in your advance package. The motion is simply that the land acquisition and disposition policy be adopted. Again, we have an existing acquisition policy that's very similar. This one simply updated it with processes and to include the disposition aspects of it to bring us into compliance.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Elizabeth regarding this policy? Hearing and seeing none, I'm looking for a mover that the recommendation of the land acquisition and disposition policy be adopted. Harvey, seconded by
Herbert.
Herbert. Elizabeth, when you're ready.
Jiguer,
yes,
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
yes,
Winfield,
Yes.
Warwick,
Yes.
and that motion passes.
And now moving on to section B, 2023 budget projections, Elizabeth.
So we've had to develop a 4-year budget plan, which covered off the years 2020 to 2023, including an annual average increase in each one of those years of 3%. The levy was reduced in 2021 to 1% and no cost of living adjustments to salaries, basically to give our member municipalities relief during, as we all dealt with the fallouts of the pandemic. The City of London has requested the boards to stay within their approved allocations, and due to the decrease in 2021, that means that we have up to a 5% general levy increase that can be supported by London at this time, because there's still room within their budget allocations. So I certainly understand that, you know, all our other member municipalities certainly have their processes to go through. But that is, you know, generally a target that we use because the City of London does that 4-year budget plan, and we mirror that with our own planning process. So I have started the 2023 budget process with basically a minimum of a 4% increase that represents around $41,000. And that's what I simply am projecting at the very least is needed for 2023. And I just thought at this juncture I'd give you some high level information about the issues that I'll be grappling with as I bring you a more updated draft next month. Next slide. So some of the budget pressures, certainly salaries, you know, the rate of inflation continues to increase, and usually at this time of year, we have a pretty good indication of where cost of living is going to land, but it's so volatile at this point, just in terms of going out to neighboring CAs, everyone's kind of waiting to the fall to really land on it. But I am suggesting that we move ahead, at least with a 2% cost of living increase and any necessary adjustments related to the implementation of that salary and pay equity review. We want to ensure our wages are competitive, and now that we have you know, the new 2022 salary and pay, now that we've gone out to market and looked at that, we want to stay competitive and make sure that we don't lose ground before we can really get it implemented. OMERS is something that I wanted to mention. As of January 1st, we'll, as an OMERS employer, will need to make OMERS available to all non-full-time employees or non-continuous full-time employees. The enrollment will still be voluntary, but some of those employees may choose to join the plan, and that will be a cost that the authority will have to budget for. So right now, as I look to build that 2023 budget, I'm budgeting that, assuming that any contracts more than 6 months, that might come up as a real cost for the authority. Seasonal staffing, increases to minimum wages. We want to bring those wages in line with the new salary review in 2023. We want to ensure competitive wages, and as we saw this year, definitely had a difficult year to bring seasonal staff on. I think that will continue, and we need to look at our lifeguarding wages, and that will be a real impact to our campgrounds. You know, budget for campgrounds to make sure that we're still making revenue, but paying our staff a fair wage. We do face in 2023 the loss of the OPG tree planting contract. Staff are working currently to secure replacement funds, and so hopefully we'll have some good news coming up about that. But it is a major gap in the budget that we need to fill for 2023. The capital budget, I just mentioned the Dalewood Dam. I don't think I need to say more than that. It's a real cost that we'll have to address in 2023. Next slide. This is a new one. I did get confirmation last month from MECP. I did ask them to clarify about the Ontario Low Water Response. If you recall from previous reports to the board, this was a program that the authority undertook on behalf of the province. They provided us about $4,000 every year in funding to undertake that program. In 2019, when we pulled the funding, this authority put a motion out there that we wouldn't undertake that program again until the funding was secured. So I had MECP confirm it is a mandatory program. They consider it mandatory and we must deliver it. And we can apportion our municipalities accordingly. So they have sent us an updated program guide, and Jen will be looking at that over the coming months to determine an exact budget amount. But again, just looking at pre-2019 costs, it was around $4,000. And I just, that isn't currently budgeted in that 4% increase, so that's another budget pressure that I'm going to have to look at. And just bringing the attention to our member municipalities, when you look at our budget increases, 1% is about 10,000. So just downloading the program itself is about a 0.5% that staff are being asked to absorb in the budget somehow in a really tight, volatile budget year, or look to the municipal levy to accommodate that. So in terms of upcoming meetings, I would like to have an executive meeting in September to do the GM performance appraisal. We have a full authority scheduled in September. We'll be bringing the strategic work plans updates. I just want to bring back and celebrate with this board just what you've accomplished over the last 4 years. And I know that this board won't necessarily be approving our 2023 budget, but I think it's important to have those discussions in open session for public feedback, as well as your feedback as we move to the next sessions of council, and then bringing the capital budget forward in October.
Okay, so any questions? No, then I have a recommendation that the 2023 budget projection report be received, and further that staff prepare a draft budget for discussion at the September full authority meeting with a 2% cost of living increase to the salary grid and a levy increase of at least 4%. So mover? Jones, seconder? Mackey?
Winfield,
Okay, we can go with Mackey and save Ross for another one, and then we'll just go through our Elizabeth.
Javier,
yes,
Harvey,
yes.
Herbert,
Sorry, yes. I was on mute, sorry, yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Warwick,
Yes,
and that motion passes.
great. Now moving on to the July, August planning and regulations activity report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just looking for receipt of the report that was in your advance package, and I can answer questions that are on it.
Any questions for Joe? Nope, hearing none. So Ralph, would you like to move that? He lost the last one, so you can move this one if you like.
Sure.
All right, so Winfield moves, seconder. Harvey, okay, thank you. And Elizabeth, when you're ready.
Javier,
yes,
Harvey,
Yes.
Herbert,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Mackey,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Winfield,
Yes.
Warwick,
Yes.
and that motion passes.
Great, thank you. So obviously we've done our closed session already. Moving on to our upcoming meetings. Our full authority meeting September 21st at 10 a.m. and again, can be a hybrid meeting, and we'll be scheduling an executive committee meeting. Do you want to do that through a doodle poll, or?
I'll send something out to those
Okay,
members.
thank you. So now we're looking for a motion to adjourn. Don't all speak at once.
So,
Jones, okay, and seconder?
you got it.
I don't think we need to call that vote. I think everybody's ready to move on to
We don't.
something else. All right. Well, thank you very much for it. I know that was a long meeting, but we got a lot of information covered. And Mary Ann, if you can just let me know when we're not live again.
Just give me 1 second. I'm just double checking that the live's closed.
We stopped the recording too.